The current state of YBA is not good. And if you're watching this video, you've almost certainly heard that before. Because if you're watching this video, you'll almost certainly remember the groundbreaking milestone of February 18th, 2021. The day our prayers were answered from above. The savior we didn't know we needed. Eclipse YBA. He was to YBA as Jesus was to Rome, as Lenin was to Russia, and as Washington was to the United States. And for a good reason. February 18th, 2021, whether you remember it or not, marked the first day of a 7-year war to come. The war, not on terror, not on drugs, but on incompetence. Welcome one, welcome all to the first video I've made since the official 1-year anniversary of Uzu not giving a shit. That being June 12th, 2022. 1 calendar year since Red Hot Chili Peppers made its mark on YBA as the stand to ever exist. Excited to celebrate? I know I'm not, because today I thought I'd take a revisit to the pillar of the general YBA sentiment to this day. The 95 Theses of your bizarre adventure, the Declaration of Independence. That being, we the Joes declare that the YBA dev team can suck our collective nuts. An endless McDonald's ball pit of grease and slime untouched by soap since the dinosaurs roamed the earth. And I thought I'd give you guys a bit of a progress report. Sit down with you all, have a one-to-one talk, and what better list to anger the nostalgia femboys of YBA than the list that started it all. The single most influential video in YBA history. The one that consolidated all the Joes for the first time ever and said, you know what? Maybe I am unhappy with the state of YBA. That being, YBA has fallen from grace. Just like Arnold Schwarzenegger's Terminator, YBA Has Fallen from Grace was the debut film for Eclipse, and a groundbreaking one at that. And you might remember it yourself, if you've been in the game as long as I have, as maybe the definitive point at which things really seemed like they were taking a nosedive. Before it, everyone was all shits and giggles, and for good reason, because before that video, nobody really cared. I'll be honest, at that time no one was quote-unquote woke and based and red-pilled and racist enough to point out the flaws of YBA. Because while there obviously were flaws, the constant updates and the good seemed to always outweigh the bad. But Eclipse sought on a journey to change that. To change the way Joes think, fundamentally, about their beloved game. To grab Uzu by the balls and slice them clean off. And that was to pick apart all that stood to take YBA into its first depression. The Great Depression of 2021, if you will. It happened, folks. March 29th, 2021. The day skins were added to the game. The definitive turning point of YBA's development from creative and unique to lazy and repetitive. So today, marking the 1-year anniversary since the definitive end of an era, the golden age of YBA, I just wanted to take a deeper dive into Eclipse's video and see where we're at now. Really just go all in on the sourcing and historical analysis here and dissect, to the atomic level, the core questions we seek to find the answers to today. And though some may be as troubling as the origins of space and time, or the meaning of life itself, it'll be okay, Joes. Because the answer to all of that lies within God. God leads you through the ways of the universe, through his great manifested words, and conversely, I will lead you through these great questions that trouble you mortals so. So sit back, Joes, collaborate and listen, because Hansi is back with a brand new invention. Advertisements!
Whether it's because Uzu has lost all creative motivation, or he's just greedy and wants money, I have no idea.
Both. Also, I didn't know Eclipse died inside so soon.
But I think bugs is at the top of my list for things that make this game the most unenjoyable.
Man, if only bugs were the root cause for YBA being as sucky as it is today.
The main problem I have with the bugs in this game is that they last forever and rarely, if ever, get patched out.
Doesn't take an enlightenment thinker to check the YBA Discord today and see that the public bugs list is only growing, while the update log, well, I couldn't say it's shrinking, but it's not really going anywhere nowadays, is it?
There are bugs in this game, such as the hand being able to erase or accelerate himself into the wall, that have been around for Well, damn, it's probably been maybe even a year now.
Make it 2 years.
I think the main reason that the bugs don't get fixed is there's no real system of tracking them as far as I'm aware.
Aha! And here we have our first point that is actually not aged like fine wine, and that would be the public bugs list. After this video, Paragon did, in fact, take the suggestion and add a public bugs list to the Discord server. And you might be thinking, well, ooh-wee, doesn't that sound like progress? Well, no. Because there's one thing Eclipse got wrong in this section. The main reason, in fact, was not the lack of a public bug tracker, but rather Uzu becoming a genuine sloth as the days go on.
2 moves, the World Over Heaven's Reality Overwrite Punch and Made in Heaven's Universe Reset, both have a high chance of bricking you in SBR and making you slide around like an idiot, making the game unplayable.
So as it turns out, Uzu did at least manage to get a single year-long bug patched out soon enough. Progress, I guess.
But what they actually did was screwed up the aiming on all the other projectiles. Now they just randomly go backwards. I mean, just take a look at this.
Another definite improvement. I swear to God, just looking at this clip activates neurons in my brain that makes me feel an anger I haven't felt in months. The genuine primal urge to smash your computer screen into a fine, dissolvable powder when your knives and projectiles would just go fucking backwards. My God, it made me want to shoot a real gun at myself backwards sometimes. But judging by my usage of TWU in basically every video to date like this one, you know, the stand that's literal only good moves are both projectiles, I don't think it's as prevalent of a bug anymore, which is fucking fantastic! For the life of me, I couldn't tell you the last time it happened to me, and I couldn't tell you if it's gone for good. But it seems to me like everyone's computer screens are gonna be A-okay.
Along with the new bugs comes another Heaven Update special, Click Spam, my favorite.
You can just hear the enthusiasm in there too. Well, yeah, this section sort of aged like milk here, so I'll just brush it over it real quick. Essentially, the Heaven Update added one of the most silent but deadly changes in YBA history, and I'm not talking about Uzu's Chipotle-filled gas. I'm talking about making M1s more quote-unquote reliable. You'll remember if you played YBA back in those days because it made combat pretty fucking stupid. And I'm talking stupider than usual. Like 9 plus 10 equals 21 type stupid. All anyone would do, as Eclipse would go on to say, is M1, because it had a whole lot of stun, a whole lot of damage, and not a whole lot of end lag to accompany it. It was a free combo and everyone abused it. And if you're wondering, well, what's the big deal? Here's a comparison for those who weren't there at ground zero to see it all firsthand. You know how annoying Anubis is where you can't block until after the third M1? Yeah, imagine that on every fucking stand in the entire fucking game after 4 M1s. I'm sure you can see the issue here, and thank the fucking Lord Uzu isn't blind either, because 9 days after Eclipse made that video, Uzu decided to get off his ass and make it so that you could block after the first M1 like we have now. Progress, definitely, but I will admit I think M1s are still a problem to this day. I mean, you can see it all around you. Do you foresee Love Train Hamon can hypothetically take away like half of your health with 5 clicks of a button if you're a vampire, and meta stands like Star Platinum the World and KCR still rely mainly on M1s to keep their damage output up. And it's mainly because, like Eclipse would go on to prophesize, M1s still do a shit ton of damage with not a shit ton of end lag. There's no punishment for doing them. Once again, it's a free combo, especially if you can get a block break in and true combo some fucker with it. So yes, it's definitely gotten better, but maybe Uzu's approach to it was a little more like putting a Mickey Mouse band-aid on a guy who just fell off a 3-story building.
As you can see, made mouse 1 clicks more reliable, my ass.
I'll be honest here, call me crazy, but I never notice that the third M1 doesn't hit sometimes. And nowadays it doesn't really matter because you'll never hit your third M1 because people can block. Unless you're using Anubis, in which case, again, I've never seen a stupid fucking 3M1 combo from Anubis fail since it was released. Unless you literally just didn't press your left mouse button 3 times. He says it's because of all the knockback and the hitbox working erratically, but honestly, I never noticed M1s had knockback or bad hitboxes until it was spelled out for me. To be perfectly honest, it doesn't matter too much if a single M1 doesn't hit, because you only have, 3 bazillion M1s left to use after that, with a microsecond cooldown in between?
With every passing update, it feels like YBA becomes more and more of a cash cow.
And the sad part is, this holds more truth today than it did before. Just fucking look at shinies. Right now, my main motivation for YBA isn't money, my fat fucking asshole. Alright, now your main motivation for YBA must be to insert a bunch of models made by other people that maximize profit, but not for profit or anything, but for the shits and giggles. Because you just love copying and pasting the same code to implement skins 84 times over, don't ya? Forget, actual stands that require actual coding knowledge or actual events that actually have substance to them. Just copy and paste the same code you use for the NPCs and the same code you use for the dialogue, and see how far you can go until the Joes have had enough with you poking your jumper cables at our fucking nipples.
This game's always had its really weird pay-to-win elements, like the fact that you couldn't get rid of Vampire for the longest time unless you either used a Roka or paid for a game pass.
Hey, I'm scraping at the insulation in the walls here for some sort of improvement to brighten the mood, but at least you can remove your race with Jesus now, right? Because, as we all know, if there's one thing Jesus wants changed more than your sexual orientation, it's your race. Ka-chow!
Now it's literally a cheat. It's an item ESP. That's a hack. You can pay for a hack, and it's like 2,000 Robux.
Hitting me cold and wet with this massive sea bass here. Since item notifier is a one-time purchase, I'm not gonna lie, I never really considered how retarded it actually is. Because, I can reassure you guys, it is genuinely impossible to stand grind without item notifier nowadays. You will be stuck in front of a computer screen, sucking in the toxic, COVID-inducing blue light for hours on end. You might just melt into radioactive primordial soup before you can roll something as common as Killer Queen. Not to suck off the nostalgia boner again, but holy fuck, I remember back in the day, there was one route around the map that would just always work and would always get you the items you needed. I would just sit back for about 30 minutes and find max Rokas and arrows in that time. Chill out with a podcast in the background or have it on split screen watching YouTube. I won't lie, that was pretty entertaining. But think about that deeper for a second. Go into the very back of your Roblox contaminated mind, step up to the challenge Eclipse has faced us with, and realize, for a fucking second, that if you need to watch a video on split screen to keep yourself entertained while playing a game, then I'm sorry, but your game sucks hot pool water. I don't care if it's because you're just grinding and it's just a mechanic of the game. That's a retarded fucking game mechanic if I have to treat it like a chore. Because that's exactly what it is. A chore. A fucking 9 to 5 so you can run around the map like a roadrunner trying to get some goddamn Rokas. And you know what's even worse? They made the chore 100 times harder in the updates following that time period. I don't even remember when it happened, but at one point they moved some spawn points around or completely nerfed the spawn rates or something absolutely terrible. Maybe the Roka trees went fucking extinct for a time period, because I kid you not, it took me a whole fucking 30 minutes to find a single goddamn Roka. Exploiter? Maybe, but at the same time, if there really was an exploiter zooming around starving the Joes of other items, why did I find that Roka in the first place? And why did it take me another half hour to find another one? I tried this item hut 2 more times on 2 different days in 2 different servers with similar results. About 5 hours of my life wasted in front of a screen with only 6 Roka fruits to show for it. Yeah, talk about the fruit of my labor. Jack shit! I genuinely had to give up, concede, and buy the most amount of Robux I've ever bought in a single purchase, all for some stupid fucking game pass that allows me to hack. Talk about anti-cheat. Someone needs a Nobel Peace Prize for this one. Hey guys, who has an idea to combat all the item ESP hacking in our game? Yeah, well, nobody's at a disadvantage if everyone has the hack. I don't know how it took me so long to realize how bullshit it is, especially considering how expensive it is. 25 bucks, you could get a fucking life with that kind of money. That's a taxi ride into town so you can actually get a goddamn job and stop sitting on your ass. Or a down payment on financing a one-way plane ticket to Flavortown, USA to pursue your dream of being a culinary expert. Hell, I mean, you could get yourself the ultimate American dream and buy yourself a foot job with that kind of money. But you know what you do with it instead? Pay Yuzu even more money for sitting on his ass and doing jack shit all day. It's crazy to me. I never even stopped to consider it, but I'm just realizing it now and I'm thinking to myself, free to play, my ass. I've never met anyone with more than one lucky arrow that doesn't have the Game Pass or a genuine fucking hack. It's total lunacy. I've never seen anything like it in any other game, ever!
Spec Storage has been available through Game Pass for months, but the one free slot that you're supposed to get has read as currently unobtainable since the thing has come out. Well, when's it gonna be obtainable?
Oh god. Don't even fucking get me started on Spec Storage, man. Personally, and this is just personally here, all this heckling about free Spec Storage when pees me the fuck out. Here's the honest to god hands you take here. I just don't see why people want it so badly. Yeah, I get it. They made specs 3 to 5 times more expensive and locked them not only behind items, but in some cases even behind Steel Ball Run. And it makes perfect sense, as well as being a general convenience, to have spec storage. But that's the thing. It's a convenience. It's not something you need, it's something you can pay for. Because I'll tell you right now, he's not adding free spec storage. Prove me wrong, Uzu, I dare you. I mean, I'm probably talking into the void here, but I dare you. But I think it's just one of those pay-to-win mechanics that are kind of justified in being there. Because at the end of the day, for how often you'll realistically be switching specs, it's definitely not that big of a fucking deal. 40 minutes or so of casual SBR wiping, and if you're even as 10% as competent as the average YBA Joe, you'll manage to get at least $10,000 already. Adding on to the thousands you probably already had, especially if you recently did the storyline. Finding an item isn't like finding a needle in a haystack. In fact, it's like finding hay in a haystack. If you've been paying attention in the slightest as you play the game, you might even have too many spec items. And yeah, sure, I guess it's a minor inconvenience, but honestly, I'm gonna take the bullet for President Uzu here and say, if you don't want to deal with the inconvenience of shelling up more tax dollars for your uncaring, unapologetic overlords. Don't get me wrong, I want it added. I just don't understand how people still care when there's so much other shit that needs to be added or fixed. And I guess this kind of aged like milk here, because yeah, it might have been a prevailing issue back then. But nowadays, spec storage is the last thing I needed added to this Antarctic wasteland of a game.
At this point, I wouldn't even be surprised if they added stands locked behind game passes, because it seems like every single update they put out is made with the express purpose of milking the game dry before it inevitably dies.
Well, that's just wonderful, isn't it? This has the aura of reading back 1984 by George Orwell and seeing the parallels to modern society. Sure, it definitely hasn't gone that bad, but it's scary how it's gone on this exact path. Yeah, sure, stands aren't locked behind game passes because there are no stands to lock behind game passes. But you know what has been locked behind immense sums of Robux? Skins! Sure, they aren't locked behind game passes, but they're definitely a million times harder to get than just coughing up the dough to the stand reroll and having not only double the chance at rolling one, but also zero effort in doing so. You know how when you're shiny grinding you have to like, find a Roca in your inventory, click on it, wait for the dialogue to end, click yes, eat it, wait to respawn, go into your skill tree, buy agility 1, buy agility 2, buy agility 3, buy worthiness 1, buy worthiness 2, exit the skill tree, find an arrow in your inventory, click on it, wait for the dialogue to end, click yes, use it, wait for the long-ass excessive animation to end, and finally, after all that effort, you get Beach Boy and end up doing the whole fucking thing 100 times over for a chance at getting a skin. Yeah, All of that is completely skipped when you just buy a stand reroll. I was genuinely shocked when I first used it. It takes as long as it takes for you to press the goddamn button to get a completely new stand with an increased chance of being a good stand and double the chance of being a skin. And in honest defense of Uzu, personally, I wouldn't mind if he even made skins that are genuinely actually locked behind game passes full on 100%. Because at the end of the day, skins are cosmetic. If the only pay-to-win elements in the game were purely cosmetic, well, that's a win in my book, because Jesus Lord would that fix so much. All that ranting about the broken-ass item ESP system for $20, all that constant complaining about YBA being a skin farming simulator, all gone when Uzu just locks skins and trading them behind Robux. Not only does Uzu serve to benefit from that majorly, but my God, the subculture of skin trading and shiny grinding would be gone in the blink of an eye. That is a genuine fucking dream for me. And I know you piss babies are too hooked on your short dopamine bursts from gambling and trading based on a single tier list that a single fucking guy made that suddenly dictates thousands of you sheep to realize how much of your life you're wasting in front of a screen to realize it. But skin trading? No, not for me, man. But obviously, that's not the case. And my main problem, as I was going to point out before I went full Joker mode trying to restructure society, is that skins are all we fucking get nowadays. Before skins were added, 0 skins, 34 stands. After skins were added, 84 skins, 2 stands! It doesn't take a statistical analyst to realize, holy shit, something has gone terribly wrong! I have no problem with Uzu trying to make a quick buck off of the impressionable kids who want nothing more in life than to flex their Lightbringers and Horsemen over Heavens on everybody in SBR. But when it affects the actual community of people who wanted to play the game for the stark difference it made in combat and customization, that's where I draw the line. No more skins, Uzu. We've had it!
Do you know what a regular session of YBA sounds like? No? We'll take a listen. Yeah, it sounds like a whole lot of nothing ever since they took all of the sounds out of the game.
I was just gonna skim over this part as it aged like milk, since the big poster child of improvement since Eclipse made this is that they did, in fact, add voice lines back. For context, back in the day, Uzu decided it would be a wonderful idea to just remove every voice line from the game. The voice lines that go like Ora 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 and Muda 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 and what have you. All because he was scared of having them get copyrighted, which is, you know, the stupidest fucking idea known to man. It's like running a meth lab in South Texas with your granduncle when all of a sudden the cops are at your door and you say, "Oh shit, I gotta go hide my Pickle Rick body pillow, it's covered in evidence." You know, because when the cops come busting through the door to see all the equipment you use to make meth and the copious amounts of bricks stacked on bricks at the front door, their first thought is gonna be, "Oh fuck, raid his bedroom, raid his bedroom! He's gotta have a Pickle Rick body pillow covered in the stuff!" Same goes here. If Viz Media really wanted to go and take down YBA for copyright, they wouldn't be like, "Dear God, they used our voice lines! Get 'em!" No. What the hell? They'd be like, "Wow, all of these models look the exact same as our anime. This storyline is the exact same as in our anime. These powers are the exact same as in our anime." It's just completely illogical to me, but they did it anyway. But you know what's ironic about it? Now, some of the voice lines and a lot of the music is just missing. And I know it's not Uzu's fault. In fact, they're going to fix it in the next update. I just found it really funny that, by the hands of fate, Roblox decided to have a copyright update just at the year-long anniversary of YBA's copyright update. Can Star Platinum Azora Barrage catch a break?
RNG has always been a problem with this game, but only recently has it gotten so ridiculous that I feel like it's become a huge, massive problem.
Yet again, another point that holds even more truth today than it did a year ago. Spawn rates are fucking abysmal. Stand rates are fucking abysmal. Shiny rates are fucking abysmal. It's all just so abysmal, and I really hate to see that it's only gotten exponentially worse.
Why the hell is it a random drop chance on killing the boss to get items? Like, if I kill the boss, I should get the item. What is the purpose of making that random other than to waste my time? Not only that, but they made it so that the respawn timers on the new bosses is an eternity. You know what I and my friends had to do? We had to leave servers and join new ones rather than wait the 15 fucking minutes for the boss to respawn. What a waste of time.
Sorry I quoted him for so long, but holy fucking shit, that was too base to not all keep in at once. Genuinely, it's all so absurd. You fight this boss that's been 100 billion times easier to just cheese than to actually fight. Because, well fuck, the heaven bosses in this game are basically gods for no good reason. They do a shit ton of damage and their attacks just fly at you non-stop with zero time to be like, holy shit, maybe I should dodge that or block that or parry that. No, no, no. By the time you realize that, he'll already have time stopped you and brutally murdered you. But you know the worst part? He doesn't drop your shit 100% of the time. And even worse, he takes literal eons to respawn. The Queen of England will be dead by the time I get a Joe's disc at this rate. What the fuck? It's just genuinely easier to server hop every time you want to kill him. That's genuinely absurd. And you know what? Paragon replied to every point in this section about the shop, about the SBR, which is why I'm not talking about them because they're lost causes. They wouldn't really go too far anyways, and they aren't that annoying because SBR is a piece of cake to win. But how convenient! He stopped right where Eclipse actually made a good point about how fucking annoying the heaven bosses are. Paragon, no personal offense to you. I think it takes some fat fucking nuts to be the head warden at a prison of preschoolers this big. And I respect you, genuinely. I'm glad you put in the effort that you do. And I know it's not your fault that Uzu has his whole head, his whole upper body, far up his ass. But man, this is just annoying. A full-on year, and nothing, jack fucking shit has been done about it. It's just a snippet of all the RNG tomfuckery going on this terrible hellscape, and jack fucking shit has been done about it other than doubling spawn rates on weekends. Great.
Power creep is an issue. Stands just keep getting more and more and more powerful, and other stands just can't keep up. And rather than nerfing down the more powerful stands, they keep buffing up the other ones. So now we just have a whole lot of just extremely overpowered things, which is an issue.
Oh, nice point. Now to see how Uzu has taken into account this issue with all of the stands he's added between this video and now. Oh wait, there's only 2! And oh wait, there's been like 5 balance changes! Well, woo-wee doggy. With Anubis, I think the power creep may have hit its peak, as I do think, along with Star Platinum, Anubis is one of the most broken stands in the game, with nothing being done about it, but Red Hot Chili Peppers was honestly one of the worst combat-wise. No, don't try arguing in the comments, but Handsy_boy, Red Hot Chili Peppers has a friggin' infinite combo! How dare you say it's bad? No, shut up, because when's the last time you've seen a Red Hot Chili Peppers in 1v1s? When's the last time you've been beaten by a Red Hot Chili Peppers in 1v1s? It's just not good, man. Not to say it's bad, but it goes to show how power creep kinda tamed itself with that update. Stone Free, of course, has 10 confirmed moves, so that might end up an issue, as some people are speculating it's gonna release and be overpowered as fuck. And, well, I'm 50-50 here. I don't know. Stone Free could be OP, it could be pretty mid. Only time will tell.
But a lot of the moves in the game are tied to frame rate, which drives me crazy, because the lower your frames are, the longer distance things go.
I forgot about this being a thing. Again, I'm not sure if they patched it or what, but I'm sure the outrage about that fizzled out because I haven't heard about it in ages. Yes, back in the day, you used to be able to dash like 4 times farther if you had 15 frames per second rather than 60. But honestly, if you're playing on those kind of specs, you might need the advantage. Like, any lower and you might be going like amazing dash distances, but you're playing on a PowerPoint slides presentation. It's not really doing you any good either way. Luckily, it's not as prevalent of an issue as it is today, though it could also be argued that it never really was an issue, so...
He's really been working on that same game for so long now that I can definitely see how you could get burned out and want to do other things.
Alright, here's the big ball buster that's gonna get me permanently banned from YBA or something. I disagree entirely with Eclipse here. Yeah, I said it. Eclipse has been using the same excuse on Uzu's behalf of being burnt out on working on the same game for so long, and I can see where he's coming from, but I just don't take it that way. He couldn't be burnt out for the past year. That's just not how it works. You don't get burnt out on something and take a break for a whole year without informing your community or something. He never says he's burnt out, he only says he's busy with school and what have you. I just think if he's been burnt out for so long, he would have said so by now, because that's a genuine excuse to hide behind that wouldn't lead to an immediate Joe-pocalypse. But if he was just getting lazier, he wouldn't care to admit that, for obvious reasons. And that's exactly it. I just think he's getting lazier and his ever-inflating ego doesn't care to admit it. If he'd stop for like 5 seconds to just admit in sub-announcements, hey guys, I'm really lazy and I kinda just didn't want to work on Stone Free because of it. Bro, I would have so much respect for the guy. Straight up. Not a single handsy loses it at Uzuki's mismanagement of Stone Free video ever again. If Uzu was just down to earth with us and told us the truth, I wouldn't be such an ass with his reputation all the time. But he isn't. He's apparently always too busy with development. Too busy with development, eh? My ass! My fucking ass! My fat, greasy fucking ass! 4 goddamn months! 4 whole fucking months, and you don't even care to admit it. No, you're better than that, aren't you? You just want to roll around your pigsty and whine all day to your kitten while you do nothing with the ship you're commandeering that's steering itself into a fucking iceberg, where we'll all drown in the boredom and all of your crew, your staff, your mods, your loyal YouTubers saving your ass all the time will just fade to the bottom of the sea at your hands. Well, oink oink, motherfucker! Wake the fuck up and realize something's gotta change! If you want to keep this cash cow going, I'm all for it. But I'm throwing my hands in the air here, cause something's gotta give! Make skins locked behind microtransactions. Make some changes to the dev team. Make some changes to the game. Make some changes to yourself so you won't have such a fucking ego all the time. Not making this game for money, not just being lazy. Stop lying to yourself, man. Uzu, I support you with all you got. I hate to be hard on you. You've single-handedly changed my life. I know I make it sound like a big fucking deal, but it is. Because you made me thousands of dollars in ad revenue. Thousands of loyal fans who I couldn't live without. A loyal friend group who I wouldn't trade for the world. All because I meant them on YBA. All because I started my channel on YBA. I love this game. I love YBA for all it stands for. Because it's what I grew up on. It sounds like I'm inflating it, but I genuinely matured exponentially in the 2 years I played this game. YBA, whether big or small, is life-changing. And Uzu, I don't think a single other developer could have done it any better. I just don't want to see it go. Consistency, communication, change. The 3 C's we need now more than ever. But you, only you, Uzu, can make it happen. Be the change you want to see in the world. I'll be waiting. Thank you all so much for watching to the very end of the video. I know it's been hard to bear with my genuinely terrible commentary, but you made it! Here's a Purple Heart Medal of Honor, and now if you wouldn't mind bestowing me with a like, subscribe, and maybe hit the notification bell while you're down there so you don't miss out on the latest YBA news. Also, a lot of you don't know we have a Discord server. We just gave away gift cards and lucky hours for a public competition to see who could design me the best PFP and banner, so join down below to see what you can win next. Join the channel to see these videos early before anybody else can, and I'll see you all next time. Sayonara.